All right, Clark, let's talk about the Dolphins. They are failing to cooperate, Clark. You know, they can't just go away and die. We gotta go through this nonsense now. If we're gonna beat the Raiders and we're gonna beat the Rams and we're probably gonna beat the Patriots next week. We're gonna be 5-6, and all of our idiot Dolphin fan friends are gonna be like, this is a good team. We got a chance. Like, hey, we got a shot at this, and we're gonna go. And I'm gonna before we talk about the game day. This is I'm predicting the future for the Dolphins, Clark. They're gonna win next week. They're gonna beat the Patriots, right? They'll be 5-6. People will be singing their praises. They're going to go to Green Bay on Thanksgiving night and get smoked. Okay? And everybody's going to be like, oh, well, we still got a shot, blah, blah, blah. Then they'll probably beat the Jets the next week, right? And then they'll lose to Houston and San Francisco, and that'll officially end the season. But,
okay.
It's just asinine to me. But I was...
Well, okay. I will say this, though. Based on what we've seen from the 49ers...
Right.
I think you got to give the Dolphins a chance in that game. It's not like they're playing the 49ers from last year or the year before, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you give them a shot in that game. Houston, I don't know. Green Bay, yeah, it's just because of we don't know what the weather's going to be, and it's just if the weather's bad, forget it. Like I just I don't even just forget it. Like literally, just totally forget. I don't care. And so it's just like, you're watching them. It's like, yeah, when they play bad teams, yeah, they can run the ball a little bit. Tua can make some throws. They can look. Their offense looks fine. Looks good.
And Clark, the positive Dolphins fan would say, well, they almost beat Buffalo 2 weeks ago.
I mean, yeah, technically, yeah, they almost did. Buffalo had to make a 61-yard field goal to win the game. But I mean, the game was tied. So it's not like, if you missed that, they were going to, right? The game was tied, right?
Right, but I'm just saying, then they would have been overtime. I'm just saying, that's what the positive Dolphins fan would say. Well, look, you almost beat Buffalo. And I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, yeah, almost my ass. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You really think we would have beaten Josh Allen in overtime? Really? I just, so yeah, you are right. The 49ers are not as good as they were. We get the 49ers at home. Houston is not awesome and they play in a dome. Right. So these are not unwinnable games, but I just feel like I can see this future and I don't want any part of it. It's like, for God's sakes, can we just...
I mean, I'd rather have a high draft pick and try to, they need to rebuild the offensive line. That's just so important, but they haven't been able to do it.
The Dolphins are going to string this out, win 7 or 8 games, have the 18th pick, and we're going to be sitting there like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, the game today, look, I think that, I mean, to me, what I see in the game, they won the game. They ran the ball well. They completed passes when they needed them. But Clark, the leading receiver on the team was the tight end, Jonnu Smith. Like, I've never felt more like we do not need Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle than I do now. Like, we do not need them. Like, we don't use them for what they're actually for. Like, it's either bail the quarterback out or catch a 7-yard pass. It's just, but I will say, Clark, it's more efficient this way. What you and I have been screaming about for 3 years, like, this is the way they need to play. Run the ball, keep Tua's passing attempts down, try to be more efficient with what's going on, and they threw the ball 43 times today. So that's a bit much,
Well, the other thing is, you think about it, like, the running backs they have, they're not paying a bunch of money for any of those running backs, right? So it's just kind of a thing with receivers too. Like, you could, you can draft receivers and you can get guys that can fit into a system. Because again, if people are playing, two high safeties, which they really are, I think people have I think the problem with Dolphins fans is I think they have the impression it's like, well, it's going to take Tua a little bit, and then we'll start seeing all these explosive plays again. And it's like, no. That's not, no. That last 2-year thing, that's over. Like, forget that. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I apologize. I was wrong. The Dolphins only threw it 36 times. But 36 times, and then they ran it 26 times. So look, this is the way they should have been playing all this time. And the right tackle's out for the year. And so, I mean, I just, but yeah, so yeah, they can beat them. And I mean, God, with the Jets today, good God, the way the Jets are playing, like they could beat the Jets both times. Why not? Because this is what I will say about. I'll give the Dolphins fans. I give you a little bit of credit here. The Dolphins are not necessarily a good team, but they are not a bad team. Like this, 4-6. They are not a 4-6 team. They're better than that.
Well, and yeah. If Tua wasn't out as long, they probably win one or two more games, and then we're talking about a 500 team. It's like, okay, that's about right.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense. But you know what? I mean, so I went from this today, like, all right, are they going to figure out how to lose this game? And then once I figured out, they scored the last touchdown, I was like, all right, well, they're not going to figure out a way to lose this game. But they're good. They kept the Raiders in it though. They figured out how to do that. But yeah, so I can be happy for the team while they win, while recognizing that this is just a complete waste of time.
Yeah, more or less. So yeah, we'll see that. I mean, hopefully they don't get just absolutely annihilated on Thanksgiving night, but
yeah, I mean, look, but I refuse to buy into, they've got an easy schedule. That's a bit far-fetched.
Yeah, I heard Colin Cowherd say that weeks ago, and I'm just like, and I didn't look at the schedule. I'm like, wait a minute. From what I remember, the early part of the schedule was easier. The later part of the schedule was going to be really difficult. Especially because they're playing the Jets. One of those games is in New York. Okay,
it's the last game of the season.
Yeah, that's December or early January. Like, right. That's not good.
Right. Yeah, no, the thing is, like, yeah, we're not playing like teams that aren't playing. We're going to be playing teams that are trying to get in the playoffs, trying to win their division, right? They're playing for stuff. We're not going to be playing a bunch of loser teams. Now, but the Jets, they don't qualify. They're bad. But
yeah.
And these are tough road games, going to Green Bay, going to Houston, I know it's indoors, and going to Cleveland. It's the second to last game of the season. So,
Jameis, look, I know Cleveland lost today to the Saints, but their offense is functional now. Jameis Winston is a functional. In fact, he was a really good fantasy quarterback today. He threw for almost 400 yards.
They're competitive now versus having no shot. They're actually competitive. That doesn't mean they're not a good team, but they are competitive. And so, yeah, I scoff at that. Oh, their schedule is easy. Oh, give me a break.